Well, good morning. Welcome to Daily Videos with me, Pastor Michelle. Today is Wednesday morning, and as you know, I've said this before. I've been recording these ahead of time. Hold on, I'm just trying a little Superman hair. It looks a little weird, doesn't it? Anyway, I've been recording these ahead of time, so today's actually not the day. Today. It's actually last week, technically. Let's not confuse you with the time frame. But anyway, just got done eating dinner. So I have been recording these early, but let's go ahead and start with the thoughts of the day. And my thought today is incredibly random, but I will say it anyway. So for dinner tonight, I had fried chicken, and I DoorDashed it. Because when I pet sit, I've been pet sitting, and when I pet sit, I don't like using other people's ovens, or I don't really like using my oven at home either. But anyway, so I got a place called Ron's Roost, and this fried chicken place out here. I'm in Cincinnati, and it was delicious. I have to say, DoorDash was on top of it tonight, because I got ice cream for dessert from Graeter's and fried chicken, and they were both here in like 10 minutes. So I'm impressed. Anyway, and I wanted to just say this thought about fried chicken. It may not be the healthiest meal. And the best part of fried chicken, in my opinion, is the skin, which is the least healthy part of fried chicken, right? That's what I really only wanted to eat of this chicken. The skin was just amazing. And I did mostly just eat the skin. I think of an episode of one of my favorite shows, Friends. And there's this episode where Joey, one of the characters, he's holding a bucket of KFC, and he's only eating the skin of the chicken, the fried chicken. And he says to someone, he's like, anyone hungry? I'm only eating the skin, so the chicken's up for grabs. Oh, such a random thought for today. So anyway, that's my thought. What unhealthy foods do you like, I wonder? What's your and fried chicken is good. Nothing like, it was really good tonight. Anyway, that's on my mind. So let's get this started. Let's start with some prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. It's important to smile and find reasons to have joy. So if fried chicken brings you joy like it did for me, yeah. I did have some green beans, though. And then I had a couple grapes earlier. So I am getting my fruits and veggies in. So let's get into Hunger Games. We are nearing the end. So let's hear what happens. The anthem booms in my ears, and then I hear Caesar Flickerman greeting the audience. Does he know how crucial it is to get every word right from now on? He must. He will want to help us. The crowd breaks into applause as the prep teams are presented. I imagine Flavius, Vinia, and Octavia bouncing around and taking ridiculous bobbing bows. It's a safe bet they're clueless. Then Effie's introduced. How long she's waited for this moment. I hope she's able to enjoy it, because as misguided as Effie can be, she has a very keen instinct about certain things and must at least suspect we're in trouble. Portia and Cena receive huge cheers. Of course, they've been brilliant, had a dazzling debut. I now understand Cena's choice of dress for me tonight. I'll need to look as girlish and innocent as possible. Haymitch's appearance brings a round of stomping that goes on at least 5 minutes. Well, he's accomplished a first, keeping not only one, but 2 tributes alive. What if he hadn't warned me in time? Would I have acted differently? Flaunted the moment with the berries in the Capitol's face? No, I don't think so, but I could easily have been a lot less convincing than I need to be right now, because I can feel the plate lifting me up to the stage. Blinding lights, the deafening roar rattles the metal under my feet. Then there's PETA, just a few yards away. He looks so clean and healthy and beautiful. Can hardly recognize him, but his smile is the same whether in mud or in the Capitol. And when I see it, I take about 3 steps and fling myself into his arms. He staggers back, almost losing his balance, and that's when I realize his slim metal contraption in his hand is some kind of cane. Woo! He rights himself, and we just cling to each other while the audience goes insane. He's kissing me all the time. He's kissing me, and all the time I'm thinking, do you know how much danger we're in? After about 10 minutes of this, Caesar Flickerman taps on his shoulder to continue the show, and PETA just pushes him aside without even glancing at him. The audience goes berserk. Whether he knows it or not, PETA is, as usual, playing the crowd exactly right. Finally, Hey Mitch interrupts us and gives us a good-natured shove toward the victor's chair. Usually this is a single ornate chair from which the winning tribute watches a film of the highlights of the games. But since there are 2 of us, the game makers have provided a plush red velvet couch, a small one. My mother would call it a love seat, I think. I sit so close to PETA that I'm physically on his lap, but one look from Hey Mitch tells me it isn't enough. Kicking off my sandals, I tuck my feet to the side and lean my head against PETA's shoulder. His arm goes around me automatically, and I feel like I'm back in the cave, curled up against him, trying to keep warm. His shirt is made of the same yellow material as my dress, but Portia's put him in long black pants, no sandals either, but a pair of sturdy black boots. He keeps solidly planted on the stage. I wish Santa had given me a similar outfit. I feel so vulnerable in this flimsy dress, but I guess that was the point. So, let's hear about the interview tomorrow. And so, my friends, playing with this dog at the same time. Anyway, so let's get into John Pavlovich's book, shall we? So our blog for tonight is Dying to Leave, Trying to Live, My Depression Journey. All right. Trigger warning, suicide, self-harm. I'm done living. It was a few days after Christmas, and I was sitting in a car outside our central New York hotel with heavy snow swiftly obscuring the world outside the windows. My tears turned cold as they ran down my cheeks, and my labored breath shot white clouds like fireworks in front of me. After months of a slow and steady slide into a now lingering sadness, all my exhausted mind could process was, I'm done. I didn't want to kill myself. At least I didn't process it that way in that moment. It was as though I felt exhausted. Every possibility that a living person could not to feel like this. I'd exhausted every possibility that a living person could not to feel like this. Prayer, therapy, meditation, medication, working out, nature, journaling, art, breathing exercises, positive thinking, and it was all presently failing me. I'd simply run out of options and energy, and I was done. It didn't matter that all the objective evidence of my life testified that I should be happy, that I was fortunate, that I had so much to be grateful for, so much to want to live for. None of that registered in those moments. None of that tipped the scales toward hope. The dire story I told myself didn't require data. It never does. That's what people don't understand about those of us who live with the inner monsters. Intellectually, we understand that this makes no sense, which is often part of the problem. We don't just feel terrible, we feel guilty for feeling so terrible. We have a chronic pain with no discernible source, so we hurt, and we feel stupid for hurting. Telling us how much we have to live for and how good our lives are sometimes makes us feel worse. For many people, life can be a daily battle to stay positive. For people with severe depression, life can be a daily battle to stay. While everyone finds themselves occasionally slipping into moments of expected sadness when trouble or conflict or tragedy visit, we are often standing hopelessly at the precipice of the abyss for no good reason, staring into the black void and wondering why we're all here again, dying to leave and trying to live. Depression brings a heavy and hovering despair that requires no measurable cause to exist. So when tangible difficulties do come, when actual difficult circumstances and struggles finally arrive, they can become the final straw. They can push us over that edge. I think that's what people without mental illness don't understand about days like these. When so much cruelty is being cultivated and when leaders are manufacturing such prolific violence and when decency is in such great demand, they are potentially deadly days for us. The outside world and our own heads agree that it's hopeless. I managed to pull myself out that night. I'm not sure how. The hows and whys of who makes it in this battle and who doesn't usually defy understanding. Lots of good, loving, intelligent, faithful people don't make it. I only know that somehow I stepped back into jagged, bloody trenches of life and decided to keep fighting. I had just enough in my reserves of energy, or I grabbed a fleeting moment and got enough clarity then to realize that I need to keep going. To step out of that car now, that moment. Then I let a few people into the hell I was walking through so that I wasn't walking it alone. But I could easily have not done those things. I could have been one of the millions of people whose exhaustion simply won in the disorienting chaos of the swirling sadness. And the thing about it is, if I had given up, if I had walked further into that doneness to something worse, no one would have seen it coming. I would have simply been another person with so much to live for, being eulogized by stunned loved ones who were trying to make sense of the senseless. Like so many people who struggle with depression, I can be really good at hiding it. We have to be. It's part of the gig. We hide because we feel like a burden, and we hide because we hate admitting that we're losing. I tell you that because there are likely people around you whom you love dearly, and they're hiding it as well. Do your best to see them and to step into their lives and to let them know they matter and that you want them to stay. Know, too, if they decide they can't stay, that you did what you could to help. Sometimes all the love in the world isn't enough to save people. It's really difficult from the outside to speak louder than the voices in someone's head. I'm still here a year later. I'm usually glad I am. It has been beautiful and horrible, and it's rarely been easy. Mental illness doesn't afford you much easy. I do want to stay. So I still do all the things I can to avoid feeling the way I sometimes still feel. I have a daily regimen of prayer, therapy, meditation, working out, nature, journaling, art, breathing exercises, and positive thinking. Yet there are still fleeting moments when I look down and see only the void. Until some miracle cure comes, and millions of us who walk this nonsensical, exhausting road will be here alongside you, doing what we can do, dying to leave and trying to live. Note, if you are still struggling with depression, desire to self-harm, or suicidal thoughts, talk to someone at the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255. You, my friend, are worth fighting for. All right. So, my friends, let's continue to be there for one another as best as we can. God bless you.